Good afternoon, y'all. This is the man in the black mask, and I know all of you are fans of Rikers Island stories, and quite frankly, so am I. So I'm here to share a story with you. This is the article that I selected for me to read and share with each and every one of you. You know, Rikers jail guards busted for smuggling K2 for bully gang. Now, this Bed-Stuy based gang that's in Brooklyn. So I want to read this and share it to all of you. Jail guards smuggled K2 drugs into Rikers for gang prosecuted. Now that K2, as you all know, is synthetic marijuana laced with rat poison. And you know what that does to your brain? Turns it into scrambled eggs. Now, a lot of you remember this K2 epidemic that took place, in Brooklyn about a year or two before the pandemic. Now, a lot of you is thinking 28 days later, cabin fever, shit like that, 28 weeks later, you know? Okay, let us begin, shall we? Nearly a dozen alleged members and associates of a violent New York street gang were busted Thursday, including a pair of crooked correction officers accused of helping smuggle sheets of K2 into Rikers Island. Okay? So basically, they smuggled rat poison into that place, and that shit'll kill you faster than cancer. Okay? And as I told you in one of my earlier Rikers articles, okay, the guards are just as much of a problem as the inmates. And they ultimately need to shut that shit down, really. The 10 new arrests are part of a superseding indictment filed in Brooklyn federal court, naming a total of 45 defendants connected to the Bed-Stuy based bully gang and accused of crimes ranging from attempted murder to drug trafficking, conspiracy, and extortion. City Department of Correction officers John Chilaz and Darius Murphy are accused of taking cash bribes to help smuggle papers soaked with K2, a synthetic cannabinoid, into Rikers, according to a detention memo. Cannabinoid. I think it's cannabinoid. I'm not sure. But like I said, K2 is rat poison. That's not weed. It's fucking rat poison. Come on. If you're dumb enough to ingest rat poison, then obviously you're just signing the death warrant. Okay, you don't ingest it and you definitely don't smoke it. Okay? Would rather you smoke regular weed than smoke K2. Because to me, K2 ain't weed. Okay? I fucked with weed before, but never have I ever fucked with K2. Got it? Chilaz and Murphy allegedly delivered the drug-laced papers to jailed co-defendants who sold them to other inmates, earning thousands of dollars for the enterprise. Defendant Nahini Earl, who is nicknamed Polka and is the longtime lover of Bully Gang founder and imprisoned co-defendant Malik Mo Money Harrell, according to prosecutors, was allegedly instrumental in the scheme. Wow, plenty more where that came from. Harrell, who was behind bars at the time, allegedly relied on Earl to coordinate deliveries, bribe corrections officers, and collect sales proceeds according to a detention memo. Yeah, they got sales proceeds. They got their own rules in the drug world, and in the gang world. If you follow their rules, you live. You don't, they kill you. And that's that. For years, members and associates of the bully gang have committed brutal and wanton acts of violence while spreading the poison of dangerous and illicit drugs throughout communities and even correctional institutions, said Acting U.S. Attorney Seth Ducharme in a statement. Part of the gang's extensive operation was a sophisticated drug trafficking conspiracy based in Maine and overseen by Derek Ayers, who was previously indicted and is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, prosecutor said. Those of you that don't know what MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center, it is called the Tombs. There was a scene in American Gangster that was shot there at the Tombs. If you'll notice at the end when Denzel Washington walks out of jail, you'll notice that that's the Tombs. The organization allegedly trafficked large quantities of crack, heroin, and fentanyl between New York and Maine and laundered the proceeds through luxury car and jewelry purchases. Ayers, who's charged with attempted murder alongside Harrell for conspiring to knock off a rival, once used a taser-like device to electrocute a woman as she begged him to stop. Wow. Court papers are like, victim one fell, screamed in pain and repeatedly yelled, "Please don't, stop, I'm sorry." The heirs allegedly continued the caught-on-video assault. Prosecutors did not disclose what prompted the disturbing 2018 electrocution. So this heirs fuck tortured this woman with a taser. So he's definitely a menace to society, but he's no old dog, that's for sure. I bet you old dog would have kicked his ass in a minute. Trap houses were scattered throughout Maine, and there was one in New Jersey. During the investigation, agents seized $380,000 in cash, 15 guns, 6 kilos of cocaine, 600 grams of fentanyl, and 4 cars outfitted with elaborate trap compartments. The concealed compartments were professionally installed and opened by hydraulic lifts that an occupant triggered using a complex string of commands entered by switches for the vehicle's headlights, radio, windows, among other things, the detention memo states. Sorry, no match for James Bond. I bet you James Bond's gadgets work better than his. Chilez is still a corrections officer, while Murphy is no longer with the DLC, according to the Fed. These allegations of corruption and misconduct are deeply disturbing, DLC Commissioner Cynthia Brand said in a statement. We have zero tolerance for behavior that makes our jails more dangerous and puts our hardworking staff at risk. This is the type of misconduct that warrants termination. She should have left out jail time too, because these COs definitely need to be in a cell of their own. But as inmates, wearing red jumpsuits, since they're high risk, they participate in drug trafficking among other things. So yeah, they definitely need to be on D block, sporting red jumpsuits. The level 3 prison yard. The newly arrested defendants, Chilez, Murphy, Errol Casson, Killa Applin, Robert Ghost Holt, Terrell Rel Ratliff, Ronald Davis, Brittany Duncan, Laron Estrada, and Jamel Smith will be arraigned later Thursday or at a later date. Attorneys for the defendants could immediately be identified. Now, yeah, Rikers is a big problem nowadays because now, let me tell you something. COs commit crimes just like inmates. But the one thing that pisses me off sometimes is that whenever the COs commit crimes, they tend to get away with it. Sometimes serve with walking papers in exchange for not having to serve a day in a level 3 prison yard. But whenever an inmate commits a crime, whether it's in self-defense or whatever, the inmate gets in trouble and gets hit with added charges. But you don't see that shit with the CO. But unlike this case here, because they participated in drug trafficking and some of them face charges ranging from attempted murder to drug trafficking. So some of them are probably going to be in prison for a very long time. You know, federal lockup. Because remember, this is a federal crime. And in my opinion, they should have been tried under the RICO statute, which was used to bring down John Gotti. Because think about Gravano. Testified against John Gotti and put his ass away for life. Had John Gotti not been tried under RICO, he probably wouldn't have done life. But that RICO shit was what done him. And I think these guards should have been tried under RICO. And any other inmate that participated in this drug trafficking scheme, they too should be tried under RICO. Because they're basically adding shit on top of shit. The jail has already been plagued with problems in terms of mental illness and abuse and neglect and everything in between, including the violence. You know? And like I said at my earlier Rikers videos, the guards are just as big a problem as the inmates. And I'm glad this closed Rikers thing started with Police Browder. God rest his soul. So, you know, like I said, man, they need to shut down Rikers. I'm all for shutting down Rikers. Because I might have been at the dorm room section at Rikers once. I might have been there once, but I knew I was in jail before, but I was probably at a unit at Rikers, but I'm not sure, because that was so long ago. But I will tell you, I've been locked up before. And I've seen some of the shit that I otherwise should not have seen. I'm just glad it wasn't murder or nothing, but I did see some fucked up shit in it. Okay? Anyway, thank you for listening to The Man in the Black Mask, and check out my other Rikers videos if you're in the mood for more Rikers stories, because I love to tell you Rikers stories, you know. I love to read those articles to you and share them with you. That's why I signed up for this channel, because politics do matter, especially in this pandemic times, okay? And thank you all for showing me some love and support. Okay? The man in the black mask accommodates you. So if I have another story to bring out to you, I'll happily bring it out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a question underneath the screen and tell me what you think about this whole fiasco. Because I already told you my political views, and I'm dying to hear yours. So until then, good luck, be well, and have a good day. Thank you.